Today I'm running down my top 5 gizmos or gadgets that make using a Floyd Rose tremolo easier, so stick around. Hey everybody, it is Aaron at Warmouth, and this is the Floyd Rose tremolo system, the original Floyd Rose tremolo system that Warmouth sells. And it is a fascinating device. I'm a child of the 80s. I came from the Van Halen generation. So a Floyd Rose is standard operating procedure for me. I was there at the beginning when they first became popularized, and I've been using them for 40 years. And I know them pretty well. And it's interesting. It's such an interesting tremolo system. It's almost developed a market of its own, like an aftermarket industry of its own, where you can buy all the little different parts in all kinds of various colors. You can get different tremolo blocks for it. You can get all kinds of gizmos and gadgets that make it work differently than what it was intended for. A lot of them can be very expensive. Made out of titanium or whatever. Some have anodized colors like red or purple or green. You can get various different kind of springs that are supposed to be quiet, all kinds of stuff. The ones that I have, none of them are expensive. They're all very inexpensive, either mods or things that make it work differently. And I'm going to run them down one at a time. Like I said, there's a whole world out there. I'm just going to run down the few that I have actually done. Number 5, the hex hider, which is this little gizmo that lives on the back of your headstock right here. And basically it is the little Allen wrench that you need to change strings to unlock the locking nut and the locking saddles. And it's held in place by a little magnet. And when I first got this, I was really worried that the magnet wouldn't be strong enough to stay in place during the gig, but I've gigged with this guitar a billion times. I've flown with it, and it always stays magnetized really well. It never comes off. I've never ever had a problem with it coming off. Now I know you can get other wrench holders, but you have to screw them onto the back of your headstock, and that always just never really appealed to me. But these things are, you don't have to modify your guitar in any way. It just magnetizes right on there, stays, and then I just know that anytime I need to change strings, I've got my hex wrench right there. And also, these are only about 15 bucks or something like that, I think. So yeah, the hex hider. Number 4, the trem block. And this is going to be kind of hard to see because it's black against black. But this is, I don't even remember where I got this, to be quite honest, but on it it says shred neck trem block. And all this is a little piece of plastic with a rubberized pad on the bottom, and then it's kind of upturned at the end here so you can hold on to it. And it slips under the tremolo when you change strings, because when you change strings, the tremolo has a tendency to fall back into the cavity, and this just holds it in place while you change strings. It's so simple. And there's a million other options for this. You can just roll up a little towel and cram it under there. Basically anything that you can just wedge under there as a kind of a chock to keep the tremolo bar from tilting back when you take the strings off works. Some people even just like to change strings one at a time. I don't like to do that because I like to have them all off at once so I can polish the guitar up and stuff. But I've found that this is just super cheap, super simple, and a little bit easier than some of the other solutions like a towel or whatever. Just put it right on there. It holds it in place while you change strings, take it back out, done. So number 4 is the trem block. Number 3, the push-in bar. The Floyd Rose system comes standard with a bar that has a threaded collar on it, and you drop it in there and you kind of thread the collar on, and it's just not my favorite. It just seems like something that should have been replaced a long time ago. But from Floyd Rose, you can buy this aftermarket bar that has a push-in collar where it's got like a little nylon insert in there and a grub screw on the end where you can adjust the tension, and then after that you can just press the bar into place. and it's perfect. There's never any slop in it when you're moving it, you know, up and down. It's just, I'm not sure why Floyd Rose hasn't gone to this as the standard offering, other than they just want to keep selling these as an aftermarket add-on. But for me, it's a no-brainer. So I've replaced all the arms on all my Floyd Rose guitars with this push-in Floyd Rose arm. Number 2, the trem stopper. And I don't even know where I got this one from, but if you look in there, you can see that I have this little device. Well, the first thing you notice is I have foam crammed under the springs, and that's to keep the springs from ringing when I play certain notes. You know, there's always that sympathetic vibration thing that goes on, so I always cram foam under the springs to keep them from ringing. And that's another aftermarket product you can get for Floyd Rose, is springs that are coated, or you can sometimes get foam that inserts inside the springs. They're all the same end goal, which is to keep the springs from ringing. I just, this is like the foam that comes with Seymour Duncan pickups, and I just cram it under there. But behind that, you can see the trim stop, and this is basically just a little thing that screws into the back of the guitar and has another like big grub screw, I guess you could call it, that screws up flush against the block. And man, I hope you can see that. I've got so much black going on here on this guitar. But it just screws up against the block so that the block, or so that the tremolo can no longer pull up. It can only dive. So if you like to pull up on your tremolo, maybe that's not for you. Because it'll only let you dive. It's sort of the Eddie Van Halen style where you can only dive. But it has another huge advantage, and that is that when you're playing live, if you break a string, you don't go out of tune, because this keeps the bar from tilting backwards. So you can break a string and still make it through a song if you have a trem stopper. And I don't know, I don't remember what brand this is. I'm sure it was cheap. I probably got it off of Amazon for 15 bucks or something. I know that you can get much more expensive solutions. This is the one I picked. And a trem stopper is also necessary if you want to use my number 1 Floyd Rose gizmo or gadget, and that is this, the EVH D-Tuner. And this is a cool little gadget that makes it possible to drop down from the normal low E to a D just by pulling it out. You go to drop D tuning, you want to go back to E, you push it back in. And this was a game changer for me. Instead of having to have a separate guitar for playing drop D songs, now I can just do it all with the switch of a lever. And to show you just how versatile the D-Tuner is, you could go from something like this to something like this. With ease. And a bonus, and of course the bonus is black. Everything in this video is black, so it's really easy to see. But this is EVA foam. And if you can see, you probably can't, but in my cavity here, I've lined the bottom of the cavity with EVA foam. And it makes no functional difference. It just makes it look nice and neat, I think. I basically just cut a little piece of this foam out and glued it in there with some rubber cement. And this foam, by the way, comes in handy all the time, like in cosplay. People use this stuff. This foam has like 1.5 billion uses. People use it to build costumes in cosplay. They use it for mats and just all kinds of things. But one use I found for it is lining the tremolo cavity. And those are my top 5 plus 1 gizmos or gadgets that make using a Floyd Rose tremolo system easier. I would like to know what mods that you have done to either your guitar or to the Floyd Rose itself that have made it easier to use for you. And in the meantime, if you want to know more about the original Floyd Rose, the German-made original Floyd Rose that Warmoth sells, you can go to our website or give our customer service reps a call. And until next time, keep on picking.